Riddles are more than just games. They are ancient tools that have been used for centuries to stimulate the mind and entertain the soul. From the riddles of the Sphinx in Greek mythology to the brain teasers we enjoy today, riddles have always been a part of human culture. They are workouts for our brains. They challenge our thinking, pushing us to go beyond the obvious and delve deeper into the realms of creativity and logic. They force us to look at things in new ways. When we engage with riddles, we learn to approach problems from multiple perspectives, enhancing our problem-solving skills. By solving riddles, we sharpen our minds. Each solution brings a sense of achievement and joy, reinforcing our cognitive abilities and boosting our confidence. We become more adaptable and creative. The process of solving riddles encourages us to think outside the box, fostering innovation and flexibility in our thought processes. Riddles come in many forms. Some play with words, challenging our vocabulary and linguistic skills. Others use logic puzzles, testing our reasoning and analytical abilities. Some, like the ones we'll explore here, tap into how our brains perceive the world. These riddles can reveal fascinating insights into our cognitive processes and how we interpret visual information. Get ready to exercise your cognitive muscles with these 7 intriguing riddles. Just like physical exercise strengthens our bodies, mental challenges like these keep our minds fit and agile. Each riddle will test a different aspect of your thinking. From logical reasoning to creative problem solving, you'll encounter a variety of challenges designed to stretch your mental capabilities. We'll uncover the science behind these brain teasers. Understanding the mechanisms behind our thought processes can help us appreciate the complexity and beauty of the human mind. We'll learn about facial recognition. How does our brain distinguish and remember faces? What tricks can it play on us? We'll delve into genetic traits. How do our genes influence our cognitive abilities and problem-solving skills? We'll even explore how easily our brains can be tricked. Optical illusions and magic tricks reveal the fascinating ways our perception can be deceived. So let's jump in and unlock the secrets of our amazing brains. Together we'll embark on a journey of discovery, exploring the wonders of our cognitive abilities through the power of riddles. Our brains are wired to recognize faces. We see faces everywhere, even in everyday objects. But what happens when we turn things upside down? Look at these 2 portraits. At first glance, they might seem normal, but flip them right side up. You'll notice something strange. The features are distorted. This riddle plays on how our brains process faces. We're used to seeing faces right side up. When a face is inverted, our brains don't process the individual features as effectively. We tend to see the face as a whole. This is why the distortions are less noticeable when the images are upside down. Did you know that some abilities are determined by our genes? One example is tongue rolling. Can you roll your tongue into a U shape? Some people can do this effortlessly, while others struggle or find it impossible. This ability is largely determined by genetics. A specific gene influences the muscles in your tongue. If you inherit this gene from one or both parents, you're more likely to be a tongue roller. This riddle highlights the fascinating connection between our genes and our abilities. While we might think of our bodies as simple machines, they are actually incredibly complex systems shaped by our DNA. Sometimes the most obvious things are the easiest to miss. This next riddle tests your powers of observation. How many holes are there in a t-shirt? Think carefully. It's not as straightforward as it seems. The answer is 8. We often forget about the holes that are essential for putting on and wearing the t-shirt. There are the obvious ones, the neckline, the bottom opening, and the 2 armholes, but there are also the less obvious ones, the 2 sleeve openings and the head opening. This riddle reminds us to pay attention to the details. Often, the most important information is hidden in plain sight. Section 5. Hidden in plain sight, camouflage and perception. Our brains are constantly trying to make sense of the world around us. They look for patterns and try to identify familiar objects. But what happens when something is expertly camouflaged? Take a look at this image. Can you spot the camouflaged bird? It might take a while for your brain to process the patterns and distinguish the bird from its surroundings. This riddle demonstrates the power of camouflage. Animals use camouflage to blend in with their environment, either to hide from predators or to stalk their prey. Our brains, wired to recognize patterns, can be fooled by these clever disguises. Section 6. Spot the difference, the power of focus. Our attention spans are constantly bombarded with information. We're exposed to countless stimuli throughout the day. This riddle challenges your ability to focus your attention and spot a subtle difference. Read the following sentences. I tried to spot the difference between the two pictures, but I couldn't find it. Can you spot it? Did you notice that the word spot is repeated twice? Many people miss this repetition on the first read because our brains are wired to filter out redundant information. This riddle highlights the importance of selective attention. In a world overflowing with distractions, being able to focus on specific information is a valuable skill. Section 7. Seeing the unseen, visual illusions and our brains. Our brains are powerful but imperfect processors of information. They work tirelessly to interpret the vast amount of data they receive from our senses, but sometimes they can be led astray. Sometimes they can be tricked by visual illusions like this one. These illusions exploit the brain's shortcuts and assumptions, leading us to see things that aren't really there. Can you see the baby hidden in the branches of this tree? This is a classic example of how our brains can be deceived by clever arrangements of shapes and patterns. This illusion plays on our brain's tendency to see familiar patterns, even where they don't exist. Our brains are wired to recognize faces and other familiar shapes, a trait that has helped humans survive and thrive. Our brains are constantly trying to make sense of the world around us. They filter and interpret sensory information to create a coherent picture of reality, but this process is not foolproof. In this case, the arrangement of branches creates a pattern that our brains interpret as a baby. This phenomenon is known as pareidolia, where we see familiar objects in random stimuli. Visual illusions remind us that our perception of reality is not always accurate. They highlight the brain's role in constructing our experience of the world, showing us that what we see is not always what is truly there. Our brains are constantly constructing their own versions of the world based on the information they receive. These constructions are influenced by our past experiences, expectations, and even our emotions, making each person's perception unique. Section 8. Conclusion: cognitive flexibility, the key to unlocking potential. These 7 riddles have taken us on a journey through the fascinating world of the human brain. We've delved into the intricate ways our minds work, uncovering the secrets behind our cognitive processes. We've explored how our brains process faces, recognizing familiar features and interpreting expressions. We've seen how genetics influences our abilities, shaping our potential and the way we think. And we've discovered how easily our perception can be tricked by optical illusions, challenging our understanding of reality. But these riddles are more than just fun brain teasers. They are tools that help us understand the deeper workings of our minds. They teach us about the importance of cognitive flexibility, the ability to adapt our thinking, switch between different perspectives, and approach problems from new angles. This skill allows us to solve problems in creative ways, finding innovative solutions that we might not have considered before. In today's rapidly changing world, cognitive flexibility is more important than ever. It helps us navigate the complexities of modern life, from the workplace to our personal relationships. By challenging our brains with riddles and puzzles, we can keep our minds sharp and agile. We can strengthen our cognitive muscles, much like we strengthen our bodies through physical exercise. This makes us more adaptable, creative, and successful individuals capable of tackling any challenge that comes our way. So keep those brains engaged, constantly feeding them with new challenges and experiences. Never stop exploring the wonders of your mind and continue to unlock your full potential.